Have you ever felt super sore after you get done riding? Maybe you should have stopped before you left the parking lot to actually do some stretches. We're going to go over 4 different exercises that you can do in the parking lot before you leave. First one is going to be a calf stretch. This calf stretch is kind of a morph between your main calf stretch that you're used to and a hamstring stretch. So what you do is you start out in a calf stretch. Your feet are going to be about hip width apart, and then you keep your heel on the ground and shift your body forward more into a plank. This is going to stretch one of your calves. You can also do both of them at the same time. I suggest doing one, hold it for like 20 seconds, do the other one, hold for 20 seconds, and then go to the both of them and hold for another 20 seconds. Then after you get done with that, then you're going to go into your hamstring stretch. So you have your feet on the ground. You're going to spread your legs out just a little bit farther, and then you walk your hands back, keeping your back nice and flat, hip hinging a little bit, and this is going to stretch your hamstrings. The more wide that you have your feet, the more groin stretch you're going to get. The more narrow your feet are, the more hamstring your stretch is going to be. You're not going to hold this hamstring stretch. You're going to kind of what I call pulse into it and then pulse out of it. What your sciatic nerve doesn't like so much, and what we get a lot of times whenever we stretch our hamstrings, is we stretch our sciatic nerve. This pulsing can help you reduce what your sciatic nerve may be feeling, and or if it is irritated at all, you can actually help it feel better. I suggest like 10 hamstring stretches. Again, not a ton, but enough where you'll actually know that you've stretched it and your muscles will relax a little bit. That's what stretching does. Stretching helps you to turn off the muscle a little bit. Whenever you stretch something, there are kind of receptors in your muscles and also your tendons that as you stretch it, it tells the muscle to turn off. It tells it to relax. And that's one thing that stretching does, and why it's good to do after you exercise, not before you exercise. So that's exercise number 1, where you do the calf stretch and then you move into your hamstring stretch. Exercise number 2 is a glute stretch. This glute stretch is where you can do it standing, and you just cross one leg over top of the other, so your ankle will be on your opposite thigh, and you kind of do what I call sit into it. So you fold your trunk over top of your leg and you kind of sit into it. Now you'll hold this for probably like 15 seconds. I like to have something to support myself with, so I hold onto my bike, I hold onto the car, something that's around there, and you can hold that for 15-20 seconds. Do the opposite side, switch back and forth, do like at least 2, better if you do more like 3. Then you can also, if you don't want to just stand there and hold it, you can also sit on the ground. As you sit on the ground, you'll cross one leg over top of the other, your knee will be more towards your chest, and you'll get this kind of external rotation for your actual hip joint. That's what happens when you cross one leg over top. And what that gives you is that'll give you a nice glute stretch if you hug your knee up into you. It's a great exercise, great way to do it if you don't feel like standing. The next exercise is going to be a quad stretch. This is so simple. If you do nothing else but do a quad stretch before you pop into your car, it'll help you tremendously. If you do nothing else but do a quad stretch before you pop into your car, it'll help you tremendously because we use our quads a ton whenever we bike. So what you do is you stand, you can use something to support yourself. I didn't here, obviously. And a couple things you want to think about when you're doing a quad stretch. One, you want to grab your ankle with your hand that's on that side. And then you want to think about your core being on and kind of doing a little bit of a tail tuck here. You don't want to arch your back too much because we want to think about all of our quad here. So one part of your quad, your rectus femoris muscle, that part actually crosses over your hip. And so we need to control our pelvis to make sure that we're controlling and going to stretch all of your quad. Then what you do is you think about your knee going back in relevance to your body. If you just want to stretch the other 3 muscles of your quad, then you don't need to worry about your core. You don't need to worry about your knee going back a little bit. You can just stand there and just your knee bend actually matters. But your rectus femoris muscle is one of the muscles that gets tight the most because it crosses 2 different areas. It crosses your knee joint, it affects that, and it crosses your hip joint, and it affects that. It also is involved in knee pain, hip popping, a lot of things. And so adding in that core activation where you're holding your pelvis and trunk still, and then reaching that leg back is important for you and important for you as a mountain biker as well. Hold that 15, 20 seconds, switch sides, do at least 3 on these ones. The next exercise is going to be kind of a windmill with an arm reach. So you spread your arms out wide, kind of reach back as far as you can with your arms, thinking about opening up that chest. So you might get a little pec stretch if you're sore there. And then you're going to reach through and past your opposite leg. This does a couple things whenever we're doing this. You're going to get your upper trunk rotating, which is where a lot of us as mountain bikers are tight, is our upper trunk and our ability to actually like rotate and move. And you're going to flex your low back. This will stretch your low back in a nice way and also make it where you will get most of your rotation from your upper back if you really reach through. You can even grab a hold of your thigh and kind of pull yourself through if you want to give that extra little bit. I don't show on the video here, but I think you can tell what I mean. You'll do one side, then the other side, and I would suggest probably like 8 to 10 reps each side of opening up and reaching through, opening up and reaching through. It's a glorious stretch. You can also get a little bit of hamstring stretch if you want to bend over even more, and that'll give you that hamstring stretch as well. Now, there's a bonus stretch I have here. You will need a hand towel from your kitchen. This is a nice kitchen hand towel. And this is going to stretch your neck, especially if you have neck issues. This is a glorious stretch to do after you've had a big ride, after you have a little neck tension, and especially if you get headaches after you ride, do this stretch here. What this does is it helps you to rotate your neck. I have a full video on it right here and other neck stretches that you can do, but for your time's sake here, what you do is you loop this around your neck. It's going to sit at kind of the base of where your head, your skull meets your neck, up in there. And what you're going to do is you're going to act like your neck is a pulley. So you pull one side, pull this side. I'm keeping tension here just so I don't just pull it out. And what you're thinking about doing is helping your neck turn as you pull one side and then the other side. So it kind of grips your skin and helps turn your neck one way then the other way and helps you rotate your head. This is a great way of loosening up the muscles that are in your neck. It also mobilizes the joints of your neck. And so as you're doing this stretch, it's really helping you gain your rotation, gain your mobility back. It's a great stretch to do even on days that you don't ride as well. But add this to your routine. Keep a towel in your car, and it's a glorious thing to do. So to wrap it up, we have our calf to hamstring stretch. We have our glute stretch. We have our quad stretch, your windmill, arm reach windmill, and if you want to, your neck stretch to add in there. I hope that you do these. I hope they help you as much as they help me and several other people that I know that I've told to do them. And I hope that makes you feel better where you can ride better the next day. Cheers, y'all.